Hi students, today we are going to continue with your topic thermal properties of matter. This is your third lecture on this lesson. My name is Ratnaprabha Patil. In last lecture we have seen what is meant by specific heat capacity of solids and liquids along with specific heat capacity of gases. So again we have studied about relation between principal and molar specific heat capacities. Along with this you have studied heat equation, then heat capacity or you can say thermal capacity, and along last part you have studied in last lecture, that is calorimetry. Okay, so in this lecture we are going to study the next point from your topic or syllabus, which is heat transfer. Okay, so we are knowing that heat is a transferring in various ways. As you can say, when you have kept one vessel along with filled with water on your gas stove, what will happen? That water along with that vessel in which water is filled, both are getting hot, or temperature of water along with vessel increases after some time. Again, when your mother is cooking something and when she left the something, that is you can say spoon in the curry which she is making, then after some time the spoon which is kept in curry, that curry which is kept on the vessel, filled with vessel kept in the gas stove, after some time what will happen? Along with curry, the spoon or end of the spoon which is not inserted in the curry also get heated, or temperature of that also changes after some time. Again we can see another example is that right now summer is going on, or in summers what will happen? The air or the breeze which is coming to you in sunny hot day, then the breeze is also having some temperature, that breeze is not pleasant. So heat is transferring in gases, liquid and solid. Then how this heat is transferred from one point of the body to another? So heat is transferred from one point of the body to another in three different ways. You can say conduction, convection and radiation. Conduction is the process of heat transfer which is happening in the solid. Convection is mode of transfer of heat which is happening, you can say, in the liquids and gases. And radiation is the mode of transfer of energy which doesn't require any matter or medium. Okay, so these are three types of modes of transfer of heat, and this we are going to study in brief in your next point. Okay, then what is meant by conduction? The process by which heat flows from the hot end to the cold end of the solid body without bodily movement of particles of the body. As I have told you one example, when your mother is making curry and she left the spoon or the spatula, with the help of that spatula she is she is stirring that curry, right? So if she left the spoon or spatula inside that curry, after some time what will happen? When temperature of curry is increasing, the end of the spatula, or you can say the spoon, is also getting hot. So the spoon which is not part of spoon, which is not inserted in curry, is also getting hot. Okay, so that end of the spoon is not directly contacted with, is having any contact with the vessel, you can say, or with the source of heat, yet it is getting hot. Then how it is getting hot? That is the in solid. You are knowing that solid is having perfect shape and size. It is because molecules in the solid are having fixed position. Okay, so in solid, how heat flows from hot end to the cold end without making that is molecules are not moving from the hot end to the cold end, yet there is a transfer of energy takes place. How it is? When one end of the rod is heated, the molecules there vibrate faster. So in solid, position of molecule you can say fixed, but if you are providing the temperature, that fixed position is their mean position, you can say mean position of molecule, and they are vibrating along its mean position, maybe up and down, and or you can say to and fro motion. If you are providing the temperature to that solid, what will happen? The molecules which are present in the solid vibrates faster. If they are vibrate faster, what will happen? They collide with their slow moving neighbors. They transfer some of their energy to their neighbors. Okay, so the hot end of the rod in which the molecules are present, they are moving faster because they are having more energy, means their kinetic energy of oscillation or vibration is more. Then they will collide with the next neighbors. Their neighbors, their neighboring particles or molecules are slow moving. When they are colliding with each other, slow moving molecule with the energetic molecule, what will happen? That energetic molecule will transfer its energy to the slow moving neighbor after collision. After, then they will get the energy, and they means they will absorb, or you can say they will get the energy from the neighboring molecules, and right now their energy is also increasing, okay, or increased. These newly energetic molecules transfer their energy to their slow moving neighbors, and so on. Means just like that, sometimes if you are moving from one place to another, just like your shifting is going on your place, then what you are doing? You are making the chain, right? And you are passing the material which is present in your house to, maybe from you to your brother, to your sister, or to your father. Means you are moving or shifting the material by chain. Just like that, molecules also transfer its energy by vibrating, and after vibration, or when molecules gets energy and they are get vibrating faster, when this faster moving particles or molecules will collide with the low energy or slow moving molecules, they will transfer their energy to the slow moving molecules. Then that slow moving molecules will get energy, and they will move faster, or they will vibrate faster. Again they will transfer their energy to the next slow moving molecules or slow vibrating particle or molecule. Okay, the energy of thermal motion is transferred by molecular collision down the rod. Means collision molecule, one molecule will collide with the another. There will be the transfer of energy takes place, and by this way from hot end of the rod to the cold end of the rod, energy is or heat is transferring. Okay, that is heat is transferred by molecular collision. This method of heat transfer is called as conduction. Okay, now what are the good conductors of heat? The solid substances which conducts heat easily, they are called as good conductors of heat. You can say example as a all metals, that is silver, copper, aluminum, brass. These are the material or metals which conducts heat easily. That is why in our home utensils are made up with the metals. It is because they transfer heat easily, and due to that whatever is kept in your vessel is cooked within, means with less time. Okay, bad conductors of heat: solid substance which do not conduct heat easily, they are called as bad conductors of heat. Wood, cloth, air, these are the examples of bad conductor. That is good conductors of heat, and bad conductors of heat are good conductors of electricity as well as bad conductors of electricity. Okay, so next point which we are going to discuss is what is thermal conductivity. So thermal conductivity is what? Ability of solid to conduct heat through it, or how easily any material can conduct heat, that is called as thermal conductivity. Good conductors of heat have higher thermal conductivity than the bad conductors, because good conductors can transfer heat easily, so they will have high thermal conductivity. Okay, if one end of the metal rod is heated, heat flows by conduction from hot end to the cold end of the rod. The temperature of every section of rod starts increasing. As I have told already, in conduction what will happen? Molecules vibrate about their mean position. When you are providing heat, you can say this is the rod on which we are providing heat at the one end. So this is hot end, temperature of hot end is T1 and cold end is T2. So heat is transferring from hot end to the cold end. So if you take the sections, or if you divide the rod in some part, then what will happen? Temperature of every section of rod starts increasing. Firstly, it will start increasing where you have provided, that is rod is provided with the flame. Okay, after that, after some time, energy, that is heat energy, is transferred from hot end to the cold end. After some time, the temperature at each section of rod becomes steady but not same. Okay, for example, you can say you have provided with this hot end, flame is continuously on for this hot end. Okay, so for this hot end, one second. Okay, for this hot end, flame is continuously on. Okay, after some time, heat is transferring from hot end to the cold end. Okay, then what then temperature of every section of rod is got start increasing, but after some time temperature at each section of rod becomes steady, not same. How it is happening? It is because temperature of hot end and cold end never be the same. It is because whatever the energy or whatever the heat you are providing to the hot end, after some time heat, that is rate of absorption of heat by the hot end and rate of releasing the heat to the surrounding will be equal. So you will get steady temperature of the rod but not same. Okay, you can then under steady condition the temperature at points within the rod decreases uniformly with the distance from hot end to the cold end. Under steady condition, the temperature at points within the rod decreases uniformly with distance from hot end to the cold end. After some time what you have did, that you have stopped providing heat to the rod, then what will happen? That this rod will cool or getting its temperature will get decrease as time pass on. Okay, so hot body or hot part will release heat more than the colder. You can check it out when you can say, if you have filled one bottle with the very hot water, okay, and kept it on the table. What will happen? When bottle is too much hot, it will release the heat too much faster. When temperature of bottle or water temperature of water in the bottle will decreased, and it may be nearly equal to or maybe nearly the same to the environment. So what will happen? Heat transfer will be slow. Okay, so that is what it is showing. That is, under the steady condition the temperature at points within the rod decreases uniformly with the distance from hot end to the cold end. The fall of temperature with distance between the ends of the rod in the direction of flow of heat is called as temperature gradient. So as temperature increases from hot end to the cold end, means hot end will be much hotter than the cold end, yes, and fall of temperature is happening in the same way from hot end to the cold end. The fall of temperature with the distance between the ends of the rod in the direction of flow of heat is called as temperature gradient. An equation of temperature gradient is what? Temperature gradient is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by X. Okay, so this is about thermal conductivity. So next part which we are going to study is coefficient of thermal conductivity. So as you can see in the figure that there is a one slab, or you can say cube, having side x. A is the cross sectional area of each face. Okay, now we have took two opposite sides of the cube, that is, and we have maintained some temperature, that is T1 and T2. You can see in the figure, this is the cube and we have maintained temperature T1 at the one face and T2 at another face, which are opposite faces of the cube, and T1 is what? Greater than T2. Okay, So what we have considered here, one cube, or you can say slab, okay, which is having x. It's each side is x. A is the cross section area of the face. T1 and T2 are the temperatures of two opposite faces of the cube, and condition is that T1 is greater than T2. So under steady state condition means, under steady state condition means what? We have provided with temperature to the T1, means T1 is the hot end and T2 is the cold end, right? So means temperature of T2, temperature T2 is less than the T1, okay, and it is constant and you can say steady. So under this steady state condition, the quantity of heat Q that flows from hot phase to the cold phase is what? Directly proportional to the area of cross, or the cross sectional area A of the face. Okay, that is, under steady state condition, the quantity of heat flows from the hot phase to the cold phase is directly proportional to the cross sectional area A of the face, that is Q is directly proportional to A, directly proportional to the temperature difference between the two faces, or you can say Q is directly proportional to T1 minus T2. Next, that is Q, or the heat flows from hot end or hot phase to the cold phase is directly proportional to the time T, which is in the second, for which heat flows, okay, and x, that is inversely proportional to the perpendicular distance x between hot and cold phases, okay, that is distance between the two faces. Q is directly proportional to 1 upon x. If you write all this together, then how we can write this? Q is directly proportional to A in bracket T1 minus T2 into T divided by X. So this proportionality sign you can remove by equality and constant, that is Q is equal to K into A T1 minus T2 into T divided by X. This K is a constant of proportionality and it is called as coefficient of thermal conductivity, and value of K is different for different material. Okay, value of K is different for different material. Then how we will define this coefficient of thermal conductivity? So for that, what we can do is, you can see here that when, if area or cross sectional area of this cube is 1 meter square, temperature difference between the two faces of the cube, that is T1 minus T2, is what? 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Time for which the heat flows from hot end to the cold end is what? 1 second. And x, that is side of the cube, is equal to 1 meter. Then the heat flows, you can say Q is what? Q is what? The quantity of heat flows from hot end to the cold end, or you can say hot phase to the cold phase, is equal to K, which is coefficient of thermal conductivity. So, how will you define the coefficient of thermal conductivity? That is the quantity of heat that flows in 1 second between the opposite faces of a cube of side 1 meter. The faces being kept at temperature difference of 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. Okay, this is what the definition of coefficient of thermal conductivity. So, next part is what? You can write equation. If you are rearranging, that is, if you have to find out the value of K, what you will do? All the terms except K, you can take it on your left hand side. So, value of K will be K is equal to Q into X divided by A into T1 minus T2 into T. So, this SI unit of this coefficient of thermal conductivity is what? Joule meter raised to minus 1, second raised to minus 1, degree Celsius raised to minus 1, or you can say joule per meter second degree Celsius, or you can say joule per meter second Kelvin. And dimension of this is L raised to 1, M raised to 1, T raised to minus 3 and K raised to minus 1. So, next point which we are going to see here is Q upon T. That is, if in this equation if you take T on your left hand side, Q divided by T is equal to K into A in bracket T1 minus T2 divided by X. This quantity, that is Q divided by T, is denoted by P conduct, which is the time rate of heat flow. Okay, means heat is flowing from hot face of the cube to the cold face of the cube in how much time? That is the time rate of heat flow. And this SI unit of this is what? Watt per meter degree Celsius or watt per meter Kelvin. Okay. Instead of this, we can write this equation in terms of differentiation. That is dq by dt is equal to Ka, that is dt by dx, and where this dq by dt by dx is the temperature gradient. You can see here equation of temperature gradient, that is T1 minus T2 divided by x. Okay, that is dt by dx. If we consider area of cross section for the cube or slab is equal to 1 meter square and dt by dx is equal to 1, then dq by dt is equal to k. So, we can define coefficient of thermal conductivity by this way also. The rate of flow of heat per unit area per unit temperature gradient when the heat flow is at right angles to the faces of thin parallel sided slab material. Okay, so this is all about coefficient of thermal conductivity. Next part which we are going to take is what? Thermal resistance. Here thermal resistance we are going to see, which is RT. So here conduction rate P conduct is the amount of energy transferred per unit time through the slab of area A, thickness X, and two-sided slab being at temperature at T1 and T2. And the condition is what? T1 is greater than T2. And it is given by, you have seen this before also, that is P conduct. Q divided by T is what? P conduct, which is equal to K A T1 minus T2 divided by X. Okay. Now K depends, that is coefficient of thermal conductivity is depends on the material of the slab or material of the cube. So this concept of thermal resistance is same as the concept of electrical resistance. So electrical resistance is what? Resistance is what in electricity? That is the opposition to the flow of current. So thermal resistance is what? Opposition to the flow of heat. The opposition of body to flow of heat through it is called as thermal resistance, what I have told you before. Then bad thermal conductors have high thermal resistance. So if the materials are good conductors of heat, then they have less thermal resistance. And the materials which are bad conductors of heat, they will have more, or you can say high thermal resistance. So by rearranging this equation, what you will get? T1 divided by T2, T1 minus T2 divided by P conduct is equal to X divided by K into A. So how we are going to write, or we are writing the equation of electrical resistance, that is R is equal to V divided by I. Okay, this is the equation for electrical resistance, right? So here, resistance R is equal to V divided by I. So V is what? Potential difference. That is potential difference between the two ends of the material. And I is the current. So here, if you are doing the analogy, then you can see here T1 minus T2 is the temperature difference between the ends of the conductor, and P conduct is the rate of flow of heat. So in terms of electrical resistance, R is equal to what? V divided by I. So V is what? Potential difference between the two terminals. I is what? Current or rate of flow of electrical energy, or you can say I. I is what? It's a current, not energy. Okay. So V divided by I. So equation here, T1 minus T2 is what? Temperature difference, just like potential difference. And P conduct is what? Rate of flow of heat. And I is here what? Rate of flow of current, or current, flow of current. So RT, we can write it as a Kx divided by K. That is, in analogy with electrical resistance, T1 minus T2 divided by P conduct is the thermal resistance of material. That is, RT is equal to X divided by K into A. So SI unit of thermal resistance is what? Degrees Celsius second per kilocalorie, or you can say degrees Celsius second per joule. And dimension is m raised to minus 1, L raised to minus 2, T raised to 3, K raised to 1. Okay. Now lower the thermal conductivity, higher is the thermal resistance. You are knowing that thermal conductivity is what? How easily material can conduct heat. Okay, if heat is flowing very easily, its resistance is too much less. So rho T is the thermal resistivity, which is the reciprocal of thermal conductivity, just like in the electricity, that is resistivity is reciprocal of conductivity. And the characteristic of material. Thermal resistance of the slab or rod depends on the material and on the thickness of the slab, as I have told earlier. Okay, now this is all about thermal resistance. Next part is what? Application of thermal conductivity. So here you can see first application is what I have told in conduction also. Cooking utensils are made up of metals but provided with handle of bad conductors. It is because if cooking materials are made up with metal, so whatever we are cooking, it cooks very fast. Okay, so that is why we are using good conductors for as a cooking utensils. But its handles are made up of bad conductors. It is because we can handle it, or we can hold that utensil with that bad conductor handle. If that handle is made up with a good conductor, then we cannot hold that utensil. Okay, so handling is easy, and that for handling we are using bad conductor, and for cooking we are using a metal as a metal utensil. Okay, thick walls are used in the construction of cold storage because the bricks are bad conductors of heat, so it reduces the flow of heat from the surrounding to the room. Okay, next is to prevent ice from melting, it is wrapped in the gunny bag. If ice is not wrapped with the gunny bag, what will happen? Ice will get melt easily and you cannot transfer it from one place to another. Okay, so for that, to reduce the conduction of heat from surrounding to the ice, what we are doing? We are wrapping the ice with the gunny bag. So low thermal conductivity is also have its disadvantages. As you can see this example in your book, that is when hot water is poured in the glass beaker, what will happen? Glass is the bad conductor of heat. So what will happen? The inner surface of the glass expands on heating, as we have poured hot water in that jar. Okay, and the outer surface of that jar will not get hot. It is because glass is bad conductor of heat and it will not expand, and due to that there will be the cracks on the glass due to glass is not conductor. Okay, this is, you can say, one of the disadvantages of the low thermal conductivity. So this is all about the your third lecture, in which what you have studied, what is meant by heat transfer, in which we have studied first part of heat transfer, that is heat is transferred from one point of the body to the another in three different ways. First is the conduction, convection and radiation. First we have studied conduction. This is the process of heat flow from one hot end to the cold end by solid. Conduction is happening in the solid without bodily movement of the particles of the body. Okay, then we have studied what is meant by thermal conductivity, that is coefficient of thermal conductivity, then thermal resistance and application of thermal conductivity. In next lecture, we are going to start with the convection. Okay, thank you.